the flag on the moon represents. That the people
It's basically saying we've conquered the moon and we're conquering the rest of the solar system, wouldn't you?
Definitely. Without a doubt.
Yeah, I totally agree that they're pretty much sick people that, you know, I mean, if anybody out there does any kind of history research, and you could see that there's no doubt that, you know, these people who have been manipulating populations for, you know, thousands of years at least, you know, they've created the war, they've created the famine, they've created the diseases, they've created everything that you can imagine that's, you know, been, something that's negative for the human population. You can see it everywhere, you know.
I'm not sure about a complete whole alien agenda that we discussed, but I do know that the Egyptians have mastered technology, sorcerism, just the simple fact that no one else has been able to figure out how to embalm bodies the way that the Egyptians have been able to do. It speaks for itself.
Hey, you know what, man? You know what completely and totally slipped my head, and I really, really, really wanted to talk to him about it. I wanted to mention Zecharia Sitchin and what his thoughts are on Sitchin, since he's already been exposed as a fraud, and how that puts sort of a massive dent in the whole alien conspiracy, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, even Bill Cooper said that Zecharia Sitchin's readings or teachings off of the Sumerian transcripts, their hieroglyphics were completely false, just like Joseph Smith, who created the Mormon religion, basically created something out of lies. It just brings me to question just about everything.
Right. So when we hear cats like Swerdlow and cats like Ike talking about a reptilian agenda, and I know for a fact that David Icke used a lot of Zecharia Sitchin in his own research, when he's been exposed as a fraud, how much truth is behind the alien agenda?
That's a good question.
And it completely slipped my head. Oh, yeah. Man. We're going to have him back on so he can answer that.
Well, I listened to the Freeman perspective with Stewart Swerdlow on the show. He made it sound like the Khazars, that tribal race back in, the 600s? 600s,
700s, right.
Were manipulated by an alien agenda, so I don't know.
Me either, man. I can't believe that slipped my head. And that would sort of explain everything. Because if the texts were, because according to Swerdlow and according to several other researchers, that before Egypt you had Sumer, and before Sumer there was an even greater global empire, right?
That's what David Icke they definitely suggests, that there was a one empire even before Sumer, where there was one whole empire that was broken up, which could also be backdated with the writings in the Bible, with the Babylonian separation of languages and peoples. So is there any truth to what the Bible states with the separation of languages and people and ethnic races? I have no idea.
Right, man. It's a damn shame. Everybody listening, make sure you write it down, so we'll ask Mr. Swerdlow when we have him back. Is there anything else that anybody wants to add, or have we pretty much covered everything?
Well, we've got 10 more minutes. Let's take advantage of this. We've got 20 people in the chat room. Is there any questions in the chat room, people? Otherwise, they're talking about the Sumerian text only just recently had the code broken, so Sitchin couldn't have known.
Right. We've established that. Sitchin was a fraud, a complete and total fraud. And the reason why I brought it up is that a lot of the cats within the alien agenda have based their own research off of his research. So with his research proven to be a fraud, How much truth is there to it? Everything that we know about the alien agenda is now false. The whole alien agenda is a lie. We need to start from scratch.
Well, what I do agree with is what Stewart Swerdlow did say was that there will be an alien agenda that makes the population of the Earth believe that there's an alien agenda and come together and basically bow down to government policy and control.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. And I had mentioned this to you a couple weeks ago in a private conversation. And our dog 8 Bars, Renegade Files, the prelude coming out soon. He had mentioned it to me, and we had recently talked about this on this show about Operation Brimstone and the 500,000 FEMA coffins. 8 had made a comment to me, I agree with it, and you agreed with it too, that you have the red list, you have the blue list, and you have the yellow list, and the people on the red list and the blue list are the people that are going to be slaughtered. We're going to be slaughtered, we're going to be put into these coffins, and the government is going to use the disappearance of 500,000 people to implement the biblical religious type agenda. And they're going to call the disappearance of 500,000 patriots, they're going to call it the rapture.
Yes, and there are coffins already set in place here in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if you people saw that YouTube video, but they're prepared for a mass extermination of the American people.
And it's going to satisfy 2 fronts. Number one, it's going to get rid of any dissident. Any dissident. Red list, blue list. The red list represents the leaders. The blue list represents the followers. And they're also going to use our disappearance to enact the religious agenda, just like Mr. Swerdlow talked about earlier about them staging the events from Revelations and Armageddon. And then we will see them announce their Antichrist. Who that is, we're not too sure yet. However, next week's show is going to be about the Knights of Malta, and one prominent name that continues to be mentioned for the Antichrist is King Juan Carlos. So make sure everybody tunes in next week.
Yes, and Stewart Swerdlow did mention that at the top of this hierarchy, this pyramid, this compartmentalization, the Knights Templar, the Teutonic Knights, and the Knights of Malta are at the very top, excluding the Eye of Horus, who will be the next Antichrist. The Teutonic Knights, Knights of Malta, and the Knights Templar are the right arm of this empire that we call the New World Order. And the Crusades of the 11th century are occurring today.
Definitely.
The extermination of Muslims, the extermination of the black race, white supremacy is at its peak. The Vatican is the main source of the Babylonian magical sorcery, the hermetical, all of these different terms. They are the Babylonian Empire of today. They have not died. They just transformed into the Holy Roman Empire.
That's it.
Took on the Babylonian Nimrod, or the Egyptian philosophy, the secret teachings, the ages, the secret teachings of all ages. They are the secrets. They are the keeper of the secrets, and they are the right hand of this New World Order, and they are what we see today happening. Blackwater is a right-hand arm of this Crusades. Their main operational base is out of Malta, and this is what we're going to be talking about next week.
And the reason why we've decided to talk about this, not only because it becomes more and more prevalent as the days go by, with the slaughter taking place in the Middle East, in Israel and Palestine, in Iraq, supposedly the oncoming war with Iran. The other reason that we're going to be talking about it is that unfortunately, within our movement, there are a lot of people that completely and totally negate the power of the Vatican and their military wing, the Knights of Malta. I know that there was...
The Military Order of Malta is the right-hand arm that controls America, England, and the rest of the world.
And for people to discount that, negate